So the question for today is this a potty training issue or is this a behavior issue? Yes, so today is going to be our part B or part 2 to our first video regarding potty training. As promised, we're going to go over all the potty training questions and concerns that you guys had from the first video. After having over 300 something views, I talked to about 100 parents, and in that talking to parents, I realized that a lot of our kids are 2 or after the age of 2 or very close to turning 2. And with you guys going into terrific 2s or coming out of terrific 2s and working on potty training, it can be very difficult. And so during this video, I just want to address potty training questions, and I want to address behavioral questions that have nothing to do with potty training. Okay? For those who don't know me, my name is Kelly Austin, and this is Teaching for Tots. So yes, we'll be talking about potty training again, but this time I want to address all those parents whose kids are either getting ready to turn 2, they are 2, or they're past the age of 2. Okay, I had a lot of parents asking me questions regarding potty training and sending me messages in my DM, and a lot of those questions, as you'll see, I'm gonna kind of read some of these questions off because I wrote a lot of them down. Most of these questions had a lot to do with behavioral issues. Questions like, if my child pee in the AM but they don't want to go potty in the PM or in the afternoon, that's a behavioral issue. If my child is 3 years old and they're kind of stubborn, should I just go ahead and give them a break for potty training? That is a behavior issue. If my child can tell me when they go in their diaper but won't tell me when they have to go in underwear, yes, that is a behavior issue. If my child can go and get their diaper or get their wipes and help me with changing them, are they ready to go potty train? Yes, they're ready to be potty trained, and those are behavior issues. A lot of these questions that I had from parents were behavior issues questions. They're not so much of potty training questions, unfortunately, or potty training issues, what I would say. If your child is close to 2, like 20 something months, 24, 23, 22 months, or they are already past the age of 2, or they're 3 years old already and they're not potty trained, it's not because they're not interested in potty training, it's because you have to reprogram them. So this is a reprogramming time. And so that's what I kind of wanted to get on here and talk to parents a little bit about. The potty training steps are very much workable. Okay, I use them on my kids, I use them on other people's kids, I use them in my program that I run, Club S.M.I.L.E.D, where I help parents, and I work with toddlers and preschoolers. Now, in my program, I work with kids on reading and writing and math. But of course, if a child comes to me and they're not potty trained, I do help the parent with potty training, because it is definitely my goal for them to still be potty trained as well. But if a child can read at 2, then a child can definitely be potty trained at 2. But if they're having regression or being rebellious when it comes to potty training, these are behavior issues. It's not because they can't do it. So the first thing I want to do is I want to discredit the myth of a child not being interested. I've seen 50-something% of my questions regarding a child's interest. A child does not have to be interested in potty training to become potty trained. Some does it make it easier? Yes, it does make it easier. But unfortunately, when you wait to potty train, you're gonna have some rebelliousness, especially when it comes to boys. Unfortunately, that's the difference between boys and girls. Most likely, you won't have as much regression when it comes to girls, or rebelliousness when it comes to girls. Girls typically, as time goes on, they realize this is just not the way. It has to be a better way. It doesn't feel good to us as women. It's actually can be very irritating to us as women and as little girls with those girl parts. But with boys, they don't have that same sensitivity. So unfortunately for boys, you're genuinely reprogramming them. And that's what I want parents to understand today. I want parents to understand that when you wait until your child is 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5 years old, now you have to reprogram that child. It's not that the program itself doesn't work. The 6 steps work. for sure. Step 1, learn your baby. Step 2, introduce the potty. Step 3, create or use a rhythm or schedule. Create a schedule or use a schedule. Step 4, communication with your child about potty training and the importance of potty training. Step 5, bring everything together. And step 6, let them practice. Those 6 steps work when it comes to potty training. For sure, they work, okay? But when your child is 2 or past the age of 2, there's an extra step that you have to do, and that's what we're talking about today. And that step is called reprogramming. Before you can really do any of those steps, you have to start reprogramming your child. So even as you do step 1 with learning your baby, you have to reprogram your child when it comes to even learning your baby, because you have taught them to go potty on themselves. You have told them that this is okay. And in the step 4 with communicating, you have to retell them now something different. Let's go to the beginning. Step 1 was learn your baby. So part of learning your baby that you taught them that they'll potty on themselves. So now you have to reteach them this and see what their reaction is. That's the first thing. As you're relearning them, you have to reteach this to them. Like, is it comfortable for them? Is it not comfortable for you? This is gonna tell you whether your journey is gonna be a short journey or a long journey, because it's gonna tell you whether they're gonna be rebellious towards you or they're ready to come out of diapers. Like, it's bothering them. But for most kids, it's not gonna bother them because they're used to it. Us as humans, we are adaptable creatures. We can adapt to many situations, good or bad. So unfortunately, a lot of kids are gonna be like, this is fine, I've gotten used to it. It might have been a little uncomfortable the first 6 months, but now at 2 years old, this is all I know. So they're okay with it. The next thing is introducing the potty. When you introduce potty, guess what? That's reprogramming to them, because you introduced them to diapers first. And when you told them to go to the diaper, you've been putting them in diapers for 2 years now, and that they've gotten used to. Now you want them to take off their comfortability, come out of their comfortability, do something, learn something different, learn something extra, do a completely different program. Introducing the potty is going to be hard for them because you're reprogramming. So you can't just do step 2 by itself. Now, when your child is close to 2 or above 2, you have to do step 2 as far as introducing the potty, but then you also have to reprogram them to understand why they have to use the potty now. And you have to be consistent. Step 3. The step 3 is keeping a schedule. Well, first of all, they already had a schedule. That schedule was getting up in the morning, getting their diaper changed, putting on a diaper. Now you have to take the diaper part out. And so that is going to be, once again, you're reprogramming them. You're telling them, okay, I know I told you for 2 years we're going to wear diapers, but now I'm telling you we're not wearing diapers anymore. And now you have to actually get up and wake yourself up and get out of the bed and go into the potty and use the potty and flush the potty and pull your pants down and pull your pants up and wash your hands. And so once again, the step itself is still going to be the same, but the extra part on your part is the reprogramming. Like a little computer, our kids are very much like computers. You have to go back and reprogram it and reboot it. Next thing is communication. Every time your child goes potty in a diaper, you may not have physically like, oh yay, good job, but you left the diaper on them. There was no negative consequences really to it, with the exception of the natural consequences of sitting in it for maybe a minute or so before you change them. And so this has become a norm for them, but now you're telling them that they can't go on the diaper, and that's confusing for a child. That is truly confusing for a child. So when you have rebelliousness from the communication of going potty, that's the time to kind of talk to them about that. This is something we used to do, this is something we can't do anymore, and try to explain that to them and being consistent in that explanation, because they're waiting for you to slip up. They're waiting for you to contradict yourself when it comes to this potty training, because once again, they've been doing this their whole entire life. And 2 years when you're 10 years old isn't a long time, but 2 years is a very long time when you're 2 years old. So they've been pottying themselves for a very long time, and the communication part is key in this area when you're doing this step, because once again, you're reprogramming. Step 5, bring everything together. So when you're doing an introduction, step 5, you're bringing everything together. But there's an extra step when you're reprogramming, because you have to almost eliminate the whole diaper experience. Once again, they're used to wearing diapers. So now you have to show them the whole entire process without this diaper. You have to have them pull their pants down, pull their pants up, wash their hands, show them everything that you want them to do, because there's a lot of steps that they're doing now that they never had to do. See, before, they may go get they may go get the diaper for you, they may bring the wipes to you, they may lay down, they may even hold their legs up. But now you're asking them to do something extra. You're asking them to pay attention to themselves so they can know when they have to go potty. You're asking them to stop what they're doing, because the potty's located in the bathroom, which may be on the first floor, away from the TV, away from their toys, away from their friends, away from their siblings that they're playing with currently. So you're asking them to stop what they're doing, to go to this closed-in area, pull down their clothes, sit on the potty, go to the potty, try to wipe themselves, pull their pants back up. Well, I asked my child to empty the potty, and he does empty the potty, but that may be an extra step for you guys. But wash their hands and flush the potty, you know, or close the lid or something. And that is a lot for a child who you've been telling for the last 2 years that they can just, oh, let me stop right here, go potty, boom, I'm done, you know? And so the steps are very much the same. The steps are very, very, very much the same. 1 through 6 are the steps for potty training. But now, if your child is 2 or past the age of 2 or close to the age of 2, then yes, you have to do some reprogramming. Most of the issues that you guys are having they're behavioral issues, unfortunately. They're not potty training issues. It's not because your child is not interested. It's not because your child can't do it. It's not because it's not the right time. It's not because they're a boy. It's not because they're a girl, even though boys and girls are very much different. And it does seem to be easier to potty train girls than it is to potty train boys. I've potty trained boys and potty trained girls. Most of the girls that I potty train, of course, are not related to me. They are parents that I have in my programs, or parents that I have in my community, or parents that I have related to a parent that's in my community or my program. I potty train them very simply. I'd be amazed, honestly. I'd say, look, I can't wait to have a girl of my own so I can potty train her, because potty training boys do seem to be a little bit more challenging. But that's why I recommend parents of boys to potty train earlier, because the later you wait with a boy, it does seem to be a little more challenging. Because like I said, they don't have the same sensitivity as girls do. But regardless if it's girl, boy, talking, not talking, whether they're, rebellion or not rebellion, if you have issues around this age, it really isn't because they're not ready. It's because you've waited, okay? That's where those issues come from, because you have to reprogram that child, unfortunately. And that can be challenging. It can be challenging to tell a child something to do, or teach the child to do something differently that they've been used to doing, especially something that's more convenient. And that's something we have to understand as parents, is that them going potty in diapers may not have been their first choice when they were little, but now at 2 years old, 2.5 years old, 3 years old, it's very much convenient. I mean, they don't have to stop playing their TV show. They don't have to stop playing with their toys. They don't have to stop playing with their siblings. They don't have to come inside from playing outside. These are all things you have to do when you're potty trained. But when you're not potty trained, you don't have to do these things. And granted, it may not feel very good sitting on their butts. It may not feel very good sitting in their private areas. It may not, feel very good in their wet clothes and things of that nature. But the reality of it is for kids, after doing it for so long, they're used to it. Just like us as adults, you can be doing something that's unhealthy, but guess what? You've gotten used to it. It's kind of like eating Cheetos. You don't want to keep gaining weight, but Cheetos are so good, so you just keep doing it. So I just hope this helps parents a little bit to understand a little bit more about this whole potty training thing. And if you're still having issues with potty training, go back to my first video, re-listen to it, and follow the steps. Now, one of the things I do want to give you guys, and this is going to help you guys a lot with all the parents who are having issues with the behavior issues, the best way to fight or to combat any issues that you're having with behavior is to be consistent. You have to show your child that you're serious about this, and this is what you're going to be doing now. That's the best way, because for all those parents who are introducing potty training and then taking a break, it's only drawn the period out longer. For all the parents who are introducing potty training and then their child is acting out and then they stop doing potty training, or they don't really 100% start potty training because the child is kind of being rebellious, all you're basically telling that child that you're teaching that child another lesson. And that lesson is if you scream and kick and do these different things, I'm going to stop doing whatever it is that you don't want me to do. I'm not going to go too much into that issue because when I do my video on terrific twos, I want you guys to come back and watch for that. But for all those parents who are having those kind of issues, that is not going to help us during terrific twos or terrific threes. For parents who tell me that they have terrible twos or terrible threes, that is why. So we have to be consistent. If you say that you're going to potty train them, potty train them. Do not let their behavior at that time keep you from doing such a thing. Because if you do, not only is it going to take longer to potty train, but that behavior will spread into other areas, like eating, sitting in their high chairs, or sitting at the table to eat, or going to bed on time, or just basically anything. They will learn. I don't know if you guys watch my videos for very long, but if you didn't watch the first video, go back to that first video. It tells you all about it. These kids are like little sponges. They're really like little computers, honestly. And whatever you program into them, you will have to reprogram or delete. Because if you don't delete, they will bring it back to remembrance and they will use it. They will remember, hey, you know what? When I kicked and screamed at the grocery store, I got the chocolate bar I wanted. Or when I kicked and screamed in the bathroom, I didn't have to go potty anymore. I was able to stay in my diapers. Or when I kicked and screamed at the dinner table, I was able to get my sippy cup back, or my bottle back, or my pacifier back. You know, and so these are things that we're programming. I mean, when I say kids are like little computers, they are very much like little computers. So I'm not going to keep you guys much longer. I've talked about everything that I wanted to address today, but we will have a video on terrific twos and terrific threes, and that will talk more about behavior issues. But go fight these behavior issues with being consistent, and check out the last video so you guys can go ahead and wrap up on this potty training. It's only 6 steps to potty training, and you'll be there in no time. So go get potty trained, and I'll see you guys next week.